they want to know about the Igbo origin. So we want to summarize everything today. But before we summarize that, let's talk about another angle of Igbo origin, which is those who believe that the Igbo originated from two great states, in quote, according to Afibo, 1983. There were people who say that the Igbo came from Igala. The Igbo migrated from Igala. But it's so funny that some places people call Igala, especially in olden days, were actually part of Igbo land because the Igala people migrated from Ukare in Taraba State and came to the place they settled today in present-day Kogi, especially within the Ega area of Igala. So now, talking about that, we have Omega in Enugu Ezike. In Igbo is in North Local Government area. Although some people refer Enugu Ezike as Nsukka, like Odu Nsukka, and there's kind of acculturation or cultural assimilation, and that is explainable why the kind of cultural semblances between the people of Enugu Ezike and some people in Enugu Ezike and some people in Igala land, that is in Kogi State. And there's intermarriage, proximity. These are the factors. Then in linguistics, we call it, we have a language contact. Like when it comes to talking about the linguistic aspect of, similarities, we have a contact. So the language contact is based on proximity, the closeness of the two cultural societies. So now we have the Gala this side, we have the Enugu Ezike this side. And a few years ago, I carried out a research, and this research I carried out, I kind of tried to discover this issue that these people we call the Igala, even in Kogi State, a lot of people, there come some communities we refer to as Igala. People refer as Igala. Are they really Igala? And when I traced from the research I conducted in 2021, which I will talk about subsequently, I will revisit that research. So these are people who parents, ancestors were within the Nsukka area. So where they stay is the ancestral home. They didn't migrate. This is like ancestral home. Because of state creation, they were carved into Kogi State. And they were still under Igala now. So now, the real Igala, there's intermarriage between the Igala people and those within the Nsukka area. And this intermarriage, also affected the linguistic, aspect of, let me just say the dialect of those areas, because the dialect, the language they speak, there are kind of similarities, the kind of language borrowing, and I also find out that a lot of people in that region, they are bilingual, so they speak Igbo and Nsukka, and they also speak Igala language because of the proximity and all that. So now, and they intermarry themselves. The Igbo marry the Igala, Igala marry themselves, so they kind of have the children who are also bilingual. That is what happened in that area. Now we have the Omega. The Omega in Enugu Ezike, they migrated from Ega in Kogi State today. Now the question is that why is that the Omega in Enugu Ezike today they speak Igbo, not like a Gala language they speak? Because the Gala always visit them. Like they have brothers in Ega. Sometimes they go to pay homage to the Ata of Igala. And we can understand this because in olden days, there was nothing like, there was nothing like it's kind of tribe or group. People live any way they want to live, and wherever they live is their home. They cohabit, they intermarry, they interchange ideas and all that. And according to one of the attacks of the Gala, he said that the Gala people migrated from Ukari in Taraba State to settle in the present day Gala land, and there they met the Edo, that is the Benin. They met the Igbo and some Yoruba in some places. So the place called Igala today wasn't originally Igala land. They migrated and saw themselves there. And when they saw this, they also met other Igbo there. So in that accent, you could say that those who are in Ega in Enugu Ezike, who are Igbo, they have kinsmen in Ega, in Igala land, which is the ancestral land of Igala land. So you see the connection. Now, some people now believe that the Igbo migrated from Igala. The Igbo is Igala, yeah? No. So Igbo had no origin with Igala. The it's explainable to say that there's intermarriage between the Igala people and also those Igbo living in proximity. Because when they came from Ukari and Taraba State, they met some Igbo already. With time goes on, Igala, they had power, in terms of um, they were known as Juju, they had Juju, they had Igala Juju, they had all those kind of powers, spiritual powers, and all those things. And according to history, the Igala, they were powerful in a way, so they kind of extend their power to those who are in proximity with them to that external power. And the Igaras were also warriors. They fought wars and defeated a lot of communities and settled where they were as well. Then they also made the Edo. Now, coming to the second stage of the Igbo origin is the Edo. Some people believe that Igbo people came from Edo, but then they say that there's some people that came from Edo, especially the Onitsha. Onitsha came from they came from Benin. Then you see Onitsha people, they say Igbo. And not just Onitsha, we have other Umeze Chime dynasty in Delta, in Anioma, the place we call as Delta Igbo today. We have the Useluku, we have the Obio, we have, Onichubo, Onichulona, Onichono, all those communities. They were all, uh, so these communities, people believe that they migrated from the Benin, from the Edo, and the progenitor was Ezechime. Now the question is, who is Ezechime? So people say Ezechime is a Benin man. But let's look at it linguistically. Eze, is it a Benin name? Hey, because this sounds somehow. Chime, is it a Benin name? It's Eze Chima. But to make it sound like they are not Igbo, Eze Chime. Eze, is it Benin name? Chime, is it Benin name? There is no way that a progenitor of a people would not retain the original name that traced the ancestry of the person. The Igbo were already making journeys. They were traveling to different places over the years in the past. So it's not like it was new that Igbos were are sojourners. No, they have been traveling over the years. So according to the oral tradition, oral fact, then this Ezechime was an Igbo man who traveled just like every other Igbo persons. Like some of us are not even in Igbo land today. We traveled to other cities to make a living. Understand? So this particular Ezechime migrated from Igbo land to Benin, where he worked as a medicine man to the Oba of Benin. Of course, he must have married. Intermarriage happened. Of course, you cannot rule the fact that there wouldn't be any form of intermarriage among the people. Like he may marry Edo women and all that, or his children or his offspring might marry Edo women, but then this Igbo-ness was there. And remember, the Edo was significant in the civilization of Nigeria, or kind of African civilization. So you cannot talk about African civilization without the Benin Empire. Benin Empire was so powerful. And Benin Empire extends beyond just the Edo area, but other part of Igbo land, different places, and Igbo. So now, it is like people going to Lagos for economic benefits or whatever. People were going to Benin for economic benefit. You understand? Because when you talk about warriors, when you talk about rich cultures, when you talk about innovations, technology, it was Edo. We have the brass, we have the bronze. Of course, we had our bronze. Igbo were producing their bronze. Then there was Edo bronze, there was Edo brass, there was other resources, other creativity that Edo people were producing. So our people also travel to those places, learn business, do their business there and interact, because this is like the world going to the United States at the center of the world for business purposes, for whatever reason, for economic purposes or whatever. People going to Lagos State to make money, to make business. That's how people were going to Edo for business, for any transaction. And that was the same thing with Ezechime. Now, just as some of us who have traveled decide to come back home, you want to retire with your offspring, you want to come back home. Ezechima decided to move back from the Edo. So as he was leaving, he left with his offspring, his wives, his children. So they were coming, they were camping to different places. That was how we have the Onichubo, Onichuolona, all those places today that were part of Ezechime. Then on the Chamiri, that they now cross the Niger and live there. In Igbo history, oral tradition, it is called Igbo Recoy. Igbo Recoy. So Igbo Recoy, so Igbo who traveled outside the Igbo land, coming back to resettle in an Igbo. So that is Igbo Recoy. They are recoiling back to an Igbo. And this is not just about the Ezechime. We also had another historical fact that Obi of Onitsha once pointed out, but people were trying to some people were trying to criticize Obi of Onitsha because they didn't understand what he was saying. But I understand that point. Even though all this is political, they try to make it politics to feel that we are from Benin, we are superior to other. We know all those things. All these things are politics. That doesn't make sense. But he said something about some Igbo who lived in the Yoruba land in Ife. And Oni of Ife has also pointed something close to this. But a lot of people don't take it serious. There were Igbo who lived in Yoruba land in olden days. They formed some communities, they were creative. I will talk about that. It's another video. I will talk about those ones. So now, at a point, they decided to come back. And there's another professor of Yoruba art, culture, history, Professor Oloidi. Yeah, he's dead, he's late now. He made a research about this as well, which I'm going to talk about subsequently. So about the Igbo who, brought blacksmithing in the Yoruba land. Yes, Igbo brought blacksmithing in Yoruba land. So now, some of these people at some point decided to come back home as they were coming, because anywhere you find is your home. They were trying to live here, stay here, some camp here, some camp here. Now, Umu is a chime. Umu is a chime. Good. Now, somebody will tell you that we are not Igbo people, we are from Benin, because where is the chime? Now, on the people, why are you speaking Igbo, not Edo language? That is the question I ask. Because you cannot tell me that which year did you relocate that you don't even retain any of your Edo language? Only Igbo you are speaking. And the same thing, we also have people like Ugunta, that is Uguta. Some of those areas, they claim that they are not Igbo, they are from Benin. And this is a fact, because a lot of people believe that the reason why they have to say they were Benin is that it gives them this prestige that old Benin Empire had. And that was a similar with the Ikwele people of River State who claim that they are Benin. Everybody is claiming Benin ancestry. Nobody wants to involve themselves with Igbo. I don't know the reason, but it's still the same thing. So now, in some situation where people say, I don't know, Edo people, Ikwele people are Igbo, don't say that you're not Igbo, you are Igbo. But the same people will say, Edo, Benin, Onitsha people are not Igbo, they are from Edo. You are contradicting yourself. You're contradicting yourself. Doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't even sound well. So now, talking about the people of Edo. Yes, Benin Empire was a very powerful empire. And you're talking about Igbo history, you cannot rule out the Edo. The fact that Ezechime was an Igbo man who went to Benin to work. He was a medicine man to Oba of Benin. Then coming back with his family, someone who has traveled over the years and tried to come back to his ancestral land, that was what happened. So when they came, they start camping. That was how we had places like Onichubo, Onichuolona, Onichuono. We have Iseluku, Mandotia. All those places, they were always a chima. I went to Obio. Obio is the place there's kind of a place they claim to be, or they said is the where they buried as a chima. And it was a privilege. I think I interacted with the Omo of that place. And you cannot tell Omo that she's not Igbo because they know all those things. So and so all these places, of course, they don't disassociate themselves from the Igbo-ness and all that. So now claiming that the Igbo originated from Edo is not true. Now, coming to the next stage of those who believe that Igbo did not migrate anywhere. Igbo land, Igbo people started from Igbo land. The hinterland of an Igbo. That is true. And I believe in this school of thought. Because according to research and everything, even the British came to try to identify where did Igbo people come from. They couldn't get any information. So that was why they say that to discover Igbo origin is maize in maize. So it was so shocking that these people do not have a kind of this is where we are coming from. And there are many oral tradition about origin. Now, how do you identify the Igbo origin? You identify origin based on family system. You know, there are a lot of oral tradition about people's origin or a place. For instance, it is so funny and shocking when I read or listen to people say that the Igbo people are from Nri. Nri is the head of Igbo. Do you even know the oral tradition of the Nri? Do you know the tradition of Eri? That Eri is a son of God, Ubu God. The Eri is in the Bible. All those nonsense. Ubu God was formed in Aguri. Ubu God was all those things like just beer power discussion. And some people will say, now let me give you the oral tradition of Umueri. Now, let me just this is in folklore studies, you know, it is called myth or legend. Yes. So this is one of the myths we had about the origin of Nri. Who is the father of origin of Eri? Who is the father of Nri? Nri fell down from the sky with the wife. The land was shaking. The land wasn't strong enough. What happened? Nri talked to Chuku. I said that the land is shaking. Then Chuku sent an Oka man who is a blacksmith to hit his tools on the ground to make the watery ground to be strong so that Eri and his wife can stay. That has been the oral tradition of Umeri. And some of you know this, but because of politics, you don't want to talk about this style. It's just story. And that is how the story of Eri, all this hegemony, just to Igbo hegemony, just we know all those things. So this is the story of Umeri. How Umeri that Eri now had his children. The first child, we have Umeri, Agunkwo. We have other siblings of Uri, which we know. We have Agolo. So we have other things. These are the children of Uri who expanded. Now, in talking about the Uri ancestry, Uri is the son of Eri. Uri is the son of Eri. And some of people say Uri Bisigo. I don't know what you are talking about because there is no connection between Uri and the Aro on the other side. And we talk about Aro civilization was far behind Uri. And we know all this historical fact. So Aro founded many communities in Igbo land. So there is kind of interconnectivity, migration within Igbo land. People were migrating within Igbo land. Some people migrate from here to here. And some people who say that some people migrated from Benue State to some part of Ebonyi State today. Now, in history, in what we know, it's not Benue State that people migrated from. Rather, those communities that were Igbo-speaking communities that are carved into Benue State. Some families migrated from those places and settled in different places in Ebonyi State. So you cannot say generally that everybody is from here, everybody is from here. People migrate from one place to another, and where they go became their home. Now, how did people retain identity? How do we know the origin of people? Where they are from is through family system. Name. And our ancestors were so wise. That was why they will name community Omo. Now, Mazi, Omo Mazi. If I have children, Omo Mazi. Now, the Mazi is the identity of the origin. Omo Mazi shows the children of Mazi, the identity. So the ancestry of the Igbo can be traced through family, name, and community. And this is why we have Omo. Look at the Port Harcourt. In River State, we have Umu Okoro, Umola, Ibekwe. These are children of Ibekwe, the ancestral lineage of Ibekwe. So, so you have to trace the identity of a people through the ancestral means. There is nothing where they come from. Did they come from Rome? Did they come from here? Did they come? All those things doesn't matter. What matters is that who is the father of this person. Just like you are looking for Mazi, you come to my community, you want to know who Mazi is. You ask, who is the father of Mazi? You look at the father. Mazi is Nwaonya. Then who is the father? Who is the grandfather of Mazi? Okay, this is the grandfather of Mazi. Who? So where did he come from? That is how you can trace the identity of a people. Not to come and generally say Igbo people are from Israel. It doesn't make sense. Igbo people are from Ri. In Ribisi Igbo. Igbo people migrated from Ri. You are sounding so dumb. Igbo people are from here. Igbo people are... Who is your father? Let's start from you. So if you want to know the identity of Igbo, the origin of Igbo, you have to start by identifying who your father is. Onye papa gi. Who is your father? So when you know who your father is, it will now give you the idea of what to do to know your identity. And that is how to identify the Igbo identity. And it shouldn't even be an issue of problem or, oh, can you say that we didn't come from anywhere? We are from Israel. How did you come from Israel? Do you look like Israelites? We came from Israel because I name Mogo. Have you studied other African nations and their cultural practices to know if you have similarities with them or not? Have you? Because from my research so far, I've noticed that we have a lot in common with those in East Africa. We have a lot in common with those in East Africa. And there's no way human beings are connected, but there's no way I can say that we are from the same place. No, human beings are connected in a way. So, however, you cannot talk about Igbo identity by judging based on, it's just by come on assumption or speculations. We trace it based on facts. And what is the fact? Who is your father? That is your identity. So if you want to know the Igbo identity, you have to start from your parents, your lineage, your ancestry, your community. When you come to a community, you find that there are a lot of people in the community who were not originally from there, rather they migrated from different places. And if you research further, you find out that in your community, you people were not even the original owners of that land. Because in the olden days, there was nothing like land. Anywhere you see land, you stay. Anywhere you stay land, you stay. Anywhere you see land, you stay. In my own village, for instance, my elders told me that they fought war. We were originally not the owners of the land, so we pursued some people. We fought war and tell some of them, you settle where you want to settle. So this is a kind of history of many communities in the past. And if you research further about your community, you hear the same thing. That some people migrated. And even in our community, although we are one community now, but we have Iku. What do you understand as Iku? Kindred. The kindred is basically family system, unit system based on migration. Now, for instance, there are people who migrated from Akpoha. Akpoha is now that Afikpo in Ebonyi State. They settle in Okposi today in my community, Omoka. And we know them. We know the lineage of those who come from Akpoha. But we are in the same community. Then there are people who migrated from other places. But they are there. In Okposi, there are people who migrated from Muturu or Kigwe. Muturu in Abia State. So some people migrated from Muturu. Understand? And now they settled in a place called Omoakoma. That is the name of the community, is Omoakoma. Now, Omoakoma is a name. You see that name, Omo. So you know children of Akoma. So they retain the identity. Now, when you are talking about who is this Akoma, you are talking about the origin of Akoma. Where did Akoma come from? Uturu. And when you talk about the Aro founded many communities in Anambra today. Should I begin to name those communities? In Idemiri, in fact, almost Idemiri Aro. We know all those things, but some people will try to cover it in the form. Aro is not a bad thing. Coming from Aro founded many communities. For instance, we talk about Mpo. Mpo is Aro. And we talk about places like there are many places, Alo, Bondiaro, a lot of communities in Anambra, Aro. But it's not like everybody in within that place came from Aro. There is kind of people come from different places and settle. Some intermarry from other areas. That's how we expand as a people. So for you to identify the Igbo origin and Igbo ancestry, you have to start from family, lineage, name. Omo, the name of the community tells a story or a history. So you cannot group Ndi Igbo as a whole to give them one ancestry. It is not possible. You cannot group Ndi Igbo as a whole, say that we come from the same place. We have diverse history of originality. So this is the conclusion of this. Now, getting this background knowledge information about the Igbo origin, let me just summarize it. First, some people who believe that Igbo came from Jews. A lot of people are still claiming that Igbo are Israel, Igbo are Hebron, Igbo are this. There's no evidence that proves that. Omogo, they say the Igbo are doing Omogo, Igbo are and Israel are doing Omogo. Igbo are doing what is it called? Circumcision, and Jews are no. Do you think there's only Jews and Igbo that do circumcision? Have you studied other African nations, East African countries and cultures? Because I've done that. So that is not even an excuse. Of course, there are similarities in some. They are, okay, Igbo people are doing this. Igbo people are hated. Israelites are hated. That is why we are Israel. Is that an excuse? Is that a reason for that originality of who we are? No. So others who believe that Igbo came from Egypt. Some say that Igbo came from the Middle East. Some say that Igbo came from different places. Some say that the old part of Igbo came from Benin. Some say Igala. Some say some part of Europe. And a lot of things people say. But these are theories, just as assumptions and speculations about Igbo identity. But for you to identify, to get Igbo identity without getting your head blown is in confusion is by identifying first your lineage, who is your father. Start from yourself, then your community. Then in your community, where did this family come from? Because ask your elders about kinsmen, kindred. How did this kindred come to be? So when you get all these facts, then you don't have any problem. So that is it about Igbo identity. You can get Igbo identity by knowing your name. That is why we have Omo, Omo Ibekwe, Omo Noka, Omo Akoma, Omoka, all these names. That is how we get identity of Igbo, by knowing the progenitor of that particular community. They will drop your comment on the comment, like, subscribe, because we have more things coming on. They will.